guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Today, before I begin to tell you why, and I'm going to give you all the reasons why bad parenting is the cause of Jamaica's crime problem. But before I go into that, there's a few persons I need to big up. These are people who have been with me from day one when I started this channel in June of last year. And they have stood with me ever since. Some of them had come in a bit later, but they stuck with me once they realized that I was up. And for that, I am very, very grateful. Now, Karen Brooks. I don't know Karen from Adam, but she always read all my posts and I've always commented. And I keep looking forward to all her comments. Nana P, I don't know. He's probably, that's a man, and he's probably Ghanaian, because I don't understand the name. But Nana P, big up yourself. You always have some real great comments. You always have an input on my channel. And thank you for your input. One of my Facebook friend, Leighton Condison. Now, Leighton, thank you, brethren. You have always shared my stuff. And you have always been there, you have always commented, and you have always viewed. Glenda Bettman, don't know you from Adam, but you're always commenting, you always look out for my thing, and as it posts and it come up on your phone, you're one of the first to click on it and watch. And of course, another my Facebook friend, Josie Wales, big up yourself. RT, big up yourself. And of course, Cognition Up. Whatever it is, Cognition Up, thank you. You guys, thank you. You're a blessing. You are what makes me, you're what makes it worth coming on and doing this. Thank you so much. Anyway, on to the topic. After I put out the video with Mavado's son and how he got to where he was and why he is now serving a prison sentence for murder at the age of 17, I got some feedback from persons who were saying that children have their own mind and I can't blame parents for the things that children do, and how I know that it was Mavado who put his son in that situation. That is hearsay and blah blah. Anyway, apart from that, there is also a friend of mine who had called me and was telling me about her son and his behavior. Now, I'm going to tie these two things together to show you why bad parenting is a cause of Jamaica's crime situation today. Firstly, let me give you this lady's story, because I set her straight at the time, and I know a lot of people, a lot of careless people, are going to be very angry with me for the way I deal with this, but I don't care. There is the unsubscribe button, but I'm going to speak the truth. Anyway, this lady, she said her son, he's always sort of a problem child. She tried her best to give him what she thinks are best for him, and all her efforts, he doesn't seem to be appreciative of it. She give him little chores in the house, he doesn't do it. He behaved badly at school, and she have to go to the school maybe once every 4 months or so. She said, but basically, twice a year at least, every year, sometimes 3 times for the year, she has to go to the school because he's disruptive and so on and so forth. And teachers say he has his own way. He likes to have things done his way. She said he's a very bright boy, but he's just, he doesn't follow rules, basically. She said that what brought things to a head is that, but last July, at the end of the school year, when he was going off on summer holiday from school, he asked her if he could pierce his ears, and she told him no. She said that about 4 or 5 days after that, she came in from work and see him with earrings in his ears. And she said, didn't I tell you not to pierce your ears? She said he didn't really answer. He said, well, he just didn't answer. He just shrugged his shoulders and, as if it was nothing. She said that because of that now, she sort of locked up certain things from him. She took his video game. She said he has a PS2 or some expensive video game. And she took it up and put it in her room and locked the door and said, for his misbehavior, she's not giving it back to him. And she took it away as a form of punishment. She said after she took it from him as punishment, what he did, he started beating up on his 9-year-old sister. At the time he was 14, he's 15 now. He started beating up, he took out the frustration on his 9-year-old sister. Beating her up. If she touch anything in the house, he comes at her because maybe he doesn't feel like he can hit the mother. So he take it out on his sister. Now, it reached a point where he start using crayon to write on walls and accusing his sister of doing it. He does a lot of little disruptive, a little snide things. And she said the house is getting very tense because she doesn't understand it. She said that she waited until he was at school one day. And then because he couldn't wear the earrings to school. So when school started back, what she did, she went in his room and searched till she found the earrings. And she took them and she threw them away. She said when he came home and the weekend coming, he was looking for the earrings to put in, like Friday evening, and couldn't find them. He started behaving disruptive again and being very vindictive in the things he do. Many little things he does around the house, and he does them wrong. Now, she is saying that she is at this point now where she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to please him. She doesn't know how to make him behave. And she wants to do some serious things. She wants to step up her game to get him to, what should I say then? To do some things to make him know she's serious about him changing his behavior. But she is afraid that if she does those things, her son may hate her. And the last thing she wants is for her child to hate her. So she doesn't know where to go. She's at a crossroads as to how she's going to act because she said this behavior cannot continue. Anyway, you know what I look at her and I told her? I said, dear heart, the moment that your child have to come to you and ask you if he can pierce his ears and put in earring. The fact that he had to come to you and ask you, you have already effed up. You have already effed up and effed up badly. Because the point is, if you didn't want your child, your son, to have earrings in his ears, your child should have known that from the age of 18 months to 2 years old. He should have already known that. And you leave it till he is 14 to come and ask you? Well, strictly speaking, this boy wasn't asking you. He was telling you what he was going to do. He wasn't asking you. He only told you what he's doing to pre-warn you of his intentions. So when you say he came and asked you, he might have said it as if it's his querying your position. But he wasn't actually querying your position. He was just warning you, said, look out for it. This is what I intend to do. Because this apparently is a child who have always had his own way. And him having his own way during his formative years, it is impossible for you to now try to curb him. See, at 15, at 14, I don't know what age you bought him. At 14 or maybe 13 or less, you had bought him an expensive video game. You have pandered to this child every whims and passions. And now, let me tell you something. It is next to impossible for you to bring him back the way you want him. I don't know if you have ever heard this saying, mother, but here it is. Bend the tree from its young. You bend the tree from its young, and you wait till him reach this age before you're going to try and bend him now. It is impossible. Him done broke in him ways. You have always been a mother who pandered to him and like you're afraid of him, and you grow him up to feel entitled. You grow him up knowing that he can get away with anything. And the reason why you told him he couldn't pierce his ears and he still went and do it is because he know you wasn't going to do one doggone thing about it. And he was right. This boy studied you from him and grow up. He studied you. And he knows how you would react. And he knows what you would tolerate from what you would not tolerate. And if he knew that this was something that would not be tolerated, it would not have been done. But he knew he wasn't going to really do anything. And he know if he put up enough enough resistance to you, if he puts up enough resistance to any pushback that you give to his actions, you are going to simply, what's that word? Capitulate. You're going to give in and let him have his way. And so far, you have given in. And not only have you given in, but you are still thinking about how you're going to appease him. Right? Because you are trying to ask me what you need to do to get him back in line without him hating you. Well, mother, let me tell you something. Your child, our children are not supposed to love you. That's not one of their job. That's not on their job description. Loving you is not on your child's job description. You hear me? There is one description that your child is supposed to have and that you're supposed to ask for. You see? Obey you. That's all your child is supposed to do. If he loves you as a consequence of obeying you, then fine. But the only responsibility your child has is to obey you. That's it. But if you grow your child from a tender age of 18 months to respect you and see you as a figure of authority and that your word is law inside your house, you would have started breaking him in the way you wanted from 18 months or younger. That's it. You bend the child from that age. And that child won't grow up feeling entitled. You start growing them very young. For example, earrings. Yes, your child should have known about earrings in his ears by the age of at least a 2-year-old. He should know that that's not on. Once a child, this young man is now 15. The fact that he's past the age of 12 without being properly broken in already, you won't be able to ever break him in again. That's not possible. You break a child into how you want them from 0 to 12. And you have those 12 years to break your child into what you want them to be. And they will become gentlemen or whatever you break them in at that age. Because let me tell you something. The one thing I would tell parents to do is to set boundaries. Your child should always know where the boundaries are. I'm not saying your child may not go beyond the boundaries at times when you're not looking, because picnic will play smart at times and do some things that behind the back that they would do in front of your face. But as soon as they know you are coming or you're going to find out, they start dressing up back and go between they stay within the boundaries, because they know where the boundaries are. You did not let this young man know where the boundaries were. He never have no boundaries. He was dragged up, and it's your fault, and you have nobody to blame. So there, the only solution I see to this problem, you see, you are this guy's BEACH. You are his BEACH. You know the word I'm trying to say. And you are always going to be his BEACH, because that's what you are. And you will continue to be his BEACH, because here is what? Nature abhors a vacuum. Madam, and if you cannot lead, you must be led. And you never played the leadership role in this young man's life. And at this late stage, it is impossible that you will ever get him to come to how you want him. Why? Because he has it in his mind that you lack the resolve to punish him or to go too far, because you're being restrained by the fact that you want him to love you. And if you try to push back too far, you're going to have to push too far to get him to yield. And you're going to push him beyond the boundary where he may lash out to the point where he may really hate you and hate you for life. So you created this monster, and you're just going to have to live with it. I don't see anything you can do. At 15 now, when is at that stage where he is already, all his formative years have been spent entitled to what you give him, and feel that he hasn't got any boundaries to do anything all his life. You think at this stage you can come and really have him come to heal? You can't. It's not possible. So for all you mothers out there, I'm telling you, the time that you start breaking your child in to become a decent citizen is from the age of 0 to 12. And take all that time, all of that time. Another thing, when a child go to school and he use certain language in front of his teacher or in front of adults, believe me, it's the same language he use at home among his parents and among members of his household. That is always it. You see, a child who grow up in a household where he has to have respect for his elders, where he cannot use certain words, certain language, certain behavior, certain attitude in the home, when he goes to school or out in public, he will treat every adult with the same level of respect and reverence that he shows to members of his household, to the adults in his household, because this is something that was broken into him from he was a toddler. So this is proof. If the parents behave yaga yaga and never had any principle, the child is going to come yaga yaga same way. And this was a report that was documented and proven that the parents are responsible for the actions of their children. So, the way the children behave in the school is a reflection of how they behave at home. It's a reflection of how their parents, the standards set by the parents, are the parents who don't have no standard. So, believe me when I tell you, the bad parenting is responsible for what goes on out here. Bad parenting. So when you dress your child like this, you dress your child looking like a thug, And you think, oh, that's so cute. Look at him. You dress him to look like a pimp at this age. And then you expect him to grow up to be something decent when this is the standard that you are setting for him. This is what you grow him up to see as the norm. And when you dress your daughter, your baby daughter, as some little streetwalker or stripper or HO, and when you dress them like this, and when they reach a certain age now, you let them go and you see them go into the dance and they wind up and they wind up and whine and juke and jam. And you think that's cute. So when the group reach 12 and 13 and start tech man at that age, what are you going to say? It's somebody else's fault? You saw that as cute. You think it was cute. And you think that, right, so that's your problem. So let me tell you, finally, I'm going to say this. Parents, I repeat, parents are responsible for how their children turn out in 9 out of 10 cases. 1. And 2, if you don't set any standards, and if you don't set the standards, here's what. Somebody else out there is going to set the standard for you. His friends, his bad-getting friends is going to set the standards for you. Because if you don't put any principles in him, good principles, then somebody out there is going to put bad principles in him. So it's up to you to fill that void. A child is like an empty shell that you have to fill. And if you do not fill it with good things, etiquette, manners, principle, dignity, self-respect, and all the other things that children are supposed to grow up with, then guess what? Somebody else is going to do your job for you. So this proves it. So when people going to say that Movado's son did not, it was his father's fault? Really? That boy was dressing like a thug and like a piece of muck from him born. To this stage, look at him in jail. Look at him in jail. And he is of the same principle. And look at what he's showing with his hand. It says, this is gangster. That symbol with the fingers means gangster for life. Gangster for life. Do you think this started when he was at 17? That him just come out at the age of 17 and just be like this? You think if his father didn't want him to be in a crowd of gunmen from young and grow him to be in a crowd of gunmen from him young, he would have this mindset at this age? No. Therefore, I can tell you, this is comfortable where he is. And I hope he never gets out. And all you parents, hate me as much as you want. Your picnic not turn out good 9 out of 10 time, I feel your fault. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing my next video.